Okay, here we are. The walls have been sanded, tape on the trim, so we're ready to paint. That's the fun part. The prep work's done. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut in around the ceiling and down the corners. Now this is not easy because we don't want paint on the ceiling, and yet we want to get the entire wall covered. What we want to do is get paint up onto the ceiling just a little bit, maybe a couple millimeters, 1/8 of an inch, if that, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. And the point is because you never really look up and see if there's paint on the ceiling, but you do look this way, and if the paint isn't high enough, you see a white line on the wall yet that doesn't have paint on it. So onto the ceiling just slightly. Okay, the best technique I found for this is if you're right-handed, you're going to start on the left and work to the right, and you're going to go from wet or dry to wet. So you scrape the paint off on the one side, tap it on the inside of the can. That keeps it from dripping. So you have paint on the top side of your brush, nothing on the bottom. Lay your brush in there flat and run it along the edge. And then brush it up. Again, scrape it off the backside, one tap, paint on the top, dry on the bottom, and go from dry into the wet. It's not critical that you get it totally covered the first time. We'll do a second coat. The biggest thing is to get it up into that crack without getting too much on the ceiling. So we've cut in across the ceiling, along the bottom, up the edge. Now what we're going to do is we're ready to roll paint. So what I have here is a Wooster Pro Doozy, which is 9" and it's 3/8 medium matte. Okay, that leaves a nice little stipple texture on the surface. It's not so heavy as to give you big globs of paint, but not so smooth as to be totally slick. So 3/8 is a nice medium grade. Then we've got a Wooster roller. Top of the line, you could also get something from Sherwin-Williams. Don't skimp on this because you just get frustrated. It's got a good solid bar here, as well as the pole to go with it. This particular roller has two ways to attach. It's got a little Sherlock here, which locks in nice and tight. There's no twist, no turn, so you can push up and down hard and it's not going to go anywhere, as well as the extension. Alright, the technique for filling up your roller with paint is to get it as full as it will hold. As much paint in as it will hold without dripping. So we're going to start by sucking up some paint here. Alright, when we paint, we're going to start clearly on the dry. And then we're going to go just like we did when we cut in. We're going to go from dry to wet. And long, even strokes. Okay, and don't worry too much about it until you've got enough paint on the wall to actually smooth it out. I usually do about 3 to 4 roller widths of paint before I worry about what it looks like. Your job right now is just to get paint on the wall. Also, when you buy a roller cover, if you buy a cheap one, you generally will regret it just because the fabric will actually let go and you'll end up with a bunch of fuzzies in your paint on the wall because you're too frustrated. Alright, now we've got about 3 rows in. I take the edge, roll the edge off a little bit just like that, just so that I get this edge clean of paint. And then I start back on this side with a full length roll. And pull it off. Don't stop and pull off. So for like this, don't stop, pull off. You're going to leave a line in your paint. So what you want to do is a full length roll, maybe 2 or 3 of them, and then just roll it off. And then again, overlap and continue on. Alright, so here we are. We've got the wall painted. We'll wait for it to dry. Usually latex is going to dry, or acrylic is going to dry in an hour. By the time you're around the room, you can usually start and continue on. Just as long as it's tack dry, you can put the next coat on. coats generally do it. Depends on the color. Sometimes if you have a dark red or something, you're going to need 3 coats. Same with cutting in. It does not matter the order in which you cut in. I generally like to cut in first and then roll after. That way I get my stipple texture to cover up my paintbrush marks. That works about the best. So you can cut in twice if you like, and then roll twice. That works fine. Or cut once, roll once, cut twice, the second time, and roll for the final time. So when you're all done, go ahead and clean up your tools. Generally, paint cover, I just throw. Matter of fact, what I do is I'll take this, put it right in my paint pan, let it dry overnight, come back, I don't have to deal with a big gloppy paint cover. If it's stuck, all you do is you take this spot here, smack it good and hard on something pointed, or even hitting this on the inside of a paint can, like that, will knock that loose, it'll pop right off and away you go. Alright, the final thing you have to do before your paint job is done is to peel the masking tape off. Be careful though, because often what happens is the paint will form a film or a skin from the wall onto the masking tape. If you just rip the masking tape off, what can often happen is your paint will come with it, okay, which means you got to touch it out and clean it in. So what works very well, use a utility knife with a light scribe, cut along that edge to cut the paint. Be careful though not to cut the tape, because then you're going to leave tape back behind your paint. That looks ugly as well. So you want to cut the little seam right between the tape and the wall. Then very carefully remove the tape. I'm not going to do that yet because I still need a second coat here. Alright, that's all there is.
Well, you're on camera. You're on camera. Do something crazy, we're on camera. You're on camera. Wait, say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi.